using Traditions Fausti's double muzzleloading rifle on Cape Buffalo, Ostrich, and Plains game. William Hovey Smith, 2015. I'm Hovey Smith, the author of Extreme Muzzleloading, and I was very interested in this Traditions rifle the instant I heard about it. So I went ahead and bought the gun. And I wanted to use it in conjunction with my new books, including my ebook series on muzzleloaders. And I wanted to do more than just shoot a few deer with it. Now, there are other muzzleloading doubles which I have owned and shot. The top is a CVA, and the bottom one is a David Peter Solly slug shotgun in 12 gauge. And I'd taken game with both of these previously before I'd got the Traditions guns. Well, the Traditions gun has an engraving on it of a white-tailed deer on one side, and I wanted to use it with PowerBelt bullets. And in particular, they had a 338 grain bullet that was brand new at the time. And so that's what I stoked up the gun with, and found that it shot left and rights pretty good at about 50 yards. I did take a Texas deer with that gun at a little over 100 yards and killed it quite dead. We did take it to Africa, and we did take, in fact, a Cape Buffalo with it, and I have a recording of the hunt which follows. Now, I'm going to narrate over this, so there will be some conflict from time to time. Going to load now. We're going to shoot our first test shot in Africa. This gun has traveled over 3,000 miles. So we'll fire a shot just to make sure that everything is still connected, everything still shoots, and the zero is still good. What we're using is a cartridge for muzzleloaders with a bullet and the charge and the primer all in one compact package. This way you don't have to worry about bags and carrying around a whole bunch of stuff and digging for different components. All of this goes down the muzzle and all of it shoots. We're going to check one barrel with one shot, and if it's on, all the rest is on. So we'll now go ahead and load. Just uncap, remove the primer, pour the charge down the barrel, seat the bullet, push it down with the fingers, seat the charge, goes all the way down, thump, you put the primer in the upper barrel, okay, and now we're ready to shoot. Okay, shot away. It's going to swab out the barrel we shot, because when you shoot, you want to shoot from a clean bore, because that's how the rifle was sighted in the first place. So we run a little damp patch down. And so now we have a clean barrel, and we'll run a dry patch down, and we'll be ready to load. And really put the load in. Okay, very good. Now this is a serious load. This is a bullet we'll actually shoot the buffalo with. It's 530 grains, 150 grains of powder, and a 209 primer. We take the primer out, dump the powder charge, lower barrel, push the bullet down, seat it, leave that charge, leave the ramrod in the barrel, get out the second cartridge, Remove the primer. Drop the charge down. Seat the bullet. Ram it home. And you are reloaded. However, we won't actually prime until immediately before we shoot. Now we're ready to go find some buffalo. Actually, I no longer shoot in the field like this. If I'm going to shoot a gun, I'm going to completely clean it, dry it, and reload it fresh for a hunt. Well, now the buffalo hunt is for a week. And so there is a lot of walking and looking for sign. And you'll notice I'm not carrying the gun right now. The guy in front of me is actually carrying it. That gun weighs nearly 13 pounds. I don't want to exhaust myself toting around the gun when I don't think we're going to do any shooting. Yeah, it's available, but we don't have it with us necessarily every minute, every day. And now we're scouting and we're looking and we are starting to see some buffalo. And you'll notice I do have my gun there. I do have it on a sling. That's the second day of the hunt, I believe, or the second afternoon, and I'm carrying it mostly now. And you do say we have lots of buffalo. In fact, too many buffalo. You shoot into that mess and buffalo are going to go everywhere. And several problems ensue. First off, a good bunch of them could come towards you. Not very nice. Secondly, if you hit a buffalo and don't drop it on the spot, how are you going to track it in all that myriad of buffalo tracks when there are 100 others running around? That's also nearly impossible.
Dat is een vis die ween verder gewoon.
Again, we're walking out and we're glassing and we're looking at buffalo. Yeah, they are there. Testing the wind. You can see them off in the bushes. Now, what you cannot see is there other buffalo between us and them. Wow, they're down in the grass. So you can all of a sudden be in the midst of these things and not really know it until they start getting up all around you. And that is scary as blazes, guys. You see Ernst running around in his short pants. That's what he always wears. That grass is pretty abrasive on the legs. His legs are used to it by now. Now that is a good buffalo in the middle of the herd, but you can't shoot him in a place like that. He's completely surrounded by cows. If you put a bullet in him and that bullet passed through and hit another cow, then you've got two animals down and all that mess. And you see how thick it is. That is one of the problems, one of the great problems with this hunt. It's very early in the season and there's grass everywhere. Now those are ticks. Well, we picked up about 800 or 1,000 ticks on that little episode. They look like almost pepper dots, but you can watch them, and indeed they move right-handedly.
We just saw a beautiful herd of buffalo. There must be 100 or so in that herd. Mm-hmm. We were lucky to catch them in this open area. You know, as you know, it's thicker than anything now. I saw a lot of bulls in there, a lot of young bulls. I didn't see a lot of old bulls. I saw 2 or 3 older bulls in there. You know, what we look for in the older bulls is this mass on the boss. It's got to be fully hard, fully grown, and then we look for a nice curl as well. Mm-hmm. The ones that I did see, there was just no way we could get a shot at any of them because of the volume of cows in there.
Yes.
As soon as they spotted us, they're all bundled up. I saw there was a couple of calves in there as well. And it's, yeah, it just makes it hard. Ideal scenario for us would be to try and pick up a bachelor group or maybe a lone bull.
Yeah. Well, when we saw them out there, the main bunch was back there, but there was a cow and at least, well, actually what turned out to be several cows when they got up about halfway between us and the main herd.
Yeah,
That we could see. They were lying down in the grass, and all we could see was the tips of the horns
yeah.
sticking up.
But it makes it hard. And you know, the wind was pretty much in our favor going across. But yeah, in this open country, just one cow spots you and she alerts the rest and off they go.
Yeah, I could tell.
Now we're having supper, and this is the end of day 2, and we're starting out on a hunt here on day 3. Again, we saw some tracks on the road. We followed up from the road. We've been tracking for a good long ways, and there is buffalo in there. He's very, very much covered up, and frankly, I can't see anything of him. Even with the scope, it's very difficult to judge the age or the size of the animal. Yeah, I can see it's a buffalo, but it doesn't look particularly big.
Just stalked another herd, and it was very, very thick. Well, we just stalked another herd, and it was very, very thick. We got quite close, about 20 yards. I couldn't tell exactly how many animals there were, but certainly more than 15, I would say. And they'd been yarded up here for a while, judged by the trampled down grass and the amount of dung around. Played with them a little bit. The more we pushed them, the tighter together they got. And finally, never did see a really good bull in the bunch. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't, just couldn't tell. But it just got too thick and to push those critters anymore.
Yeah, you can still hear them behind us. You can hear the animals bumping into one another and grass thrashing and moving and all that. But it's quite a big herd. My guess it's another 100 or 200 even in that herd. But it's so thick. And like you say, I also never saw a good bull.
Yeah.
A lot of cows and a lot of calves as well.
Yeah, I sort of looked through my scope and to see if I could pick out anything better with it, but no, all I could see was cows and calves, and who knows? Maybe we'll be able to sneak around and get them from another angle, but that herd is just too big to work in this close cover, I would think.
Yeah, no, it is. But let's go and give it another try.
Okay.
This is fairly well a repeat of the previous day, but as you see, we're in even thicker stuff yet. The material is at least shoulder high. It's all green. Yeah, there is a buffalo in there. You can see the top. You see a bit of something there sticking up, moving. Now, how is the animal oriented? Where is he? Where can you place a lethal shot? Now, as a shooter, that's my problem. So Ernst is trying to get me where I can get as clear a look at that animal as possible. Now, he is a single lone bull. Now, we've managed to do that. We managed to find him. He is a Duggar boy. So he's been cast out from the herd for whatever reason. And so we're looking for him. I come up, pull down on the animal as low on the shoulder as I can see, and take the shot. And he doesn't fall. That ain't good. We wait a little while. I reload, and we go up and we look. Now, this is exactly the same shot, by the way. The film editor just put it in there twice. So we shot only one shot at the buffalo from that location, but that was a second view of it. And so we're looking around to seeing what we can do. Woof. Now, talking about being nervous, that buffalo could be anywhere in that mess. Now, this reminds me of Alaskan brown bear. Yeah, this looks very much like the alders. And that was actually the finishing shot on the buffalo after it was already down. You see Ernst walking up to it now, and I'm recapping. You'll hear him talk about it, so we'll let him do that.
Took a little bit more than that we wanted, but
well, we had our hunt. We can say we had that.
but he what is that? 5 yards, 4 yards?
Yeah, that's a tad close.
Mind you, John, we're nobody again.
Well, this is our buffalo, and I say our because it took 3 of us to get it done. Rex here, me, and Ernst. It was a little more buffalo hunt than we anticipated. I made the first shot down here on the shoulder on the offside, hit it the right place, but apparently the bullet did not make it through the rib cage. So it got up and it ran, obviously hurt, dragging one hoof bad, and so we followed it. It must have bedded down at least 4 beds that I recognized. We'd get up again. So finally, Ernst had to take a shot just to try to anchor the animal. And we were walking in on it after that, and it did charge. And Ernst stopped it at about 5 yards with a 458 watt. And then I put a perfunctory finishing shot in it. But a very, very nice buffalo. We'll have some more pictures of it and talk about it later. But a good beastie, and certainly in all respect a classic buffalo hunt. Had a chase, had tracking, probably maybe 2-3 miles. And Ernst, would you like to come up and say something about your creature here? Mm-hmm. And there's Ernst's shot right there. Roof, plunky.
Yeah. All I can say over here, it's not how we plan it. Normally we rather just get them to go down and drop, but sometimes it happens. That's a very, very lucky shot on my behalf. I don't think it's quite where I was aiming, but it's, when he's coming at you and it's that quick and that close, you basically just try and go center mass. That's about all you can do. And I think I just lucked out, yeah. But yeah, well done.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm glad it ended as well as it did, because it could have gotten right nasty, because I wasn't in any position to be any help at all.
Yeah, yeah. No, we were all very lucky tonight. We were all very lucky.
Now that is a porcupine, in case you couldn't see.
We butchered the animal, and we now know, finally, what the bullet did. Actually, not too bad. It went through this shoulder, into the rib cage, clipped the bottom of the backbone, through the ribs on the other side here, and then wound up somewhere buried in this heavy offside leg. So actually the bullet did about what you could expect it to do, except it was not quite low enough to catch any of the lungs. So that's why we didn't see any blood from frothing from the nostrils and such. It did penetrate the rib cage okay.
This is what the bullets actually looked like. The upper two are the steel-tipped dangerous game bullets. And you see one has lost its center lead section. That one was recovered from the offside leg, and the other one was from the second shot that went through more soft tissue. Both of these penetrated very, very well. Now, the one to the right was one of the bullets recovered from the Ostrich, and that happens to be a 444 grain lead copper plated PowerBelt bullet. And all of these were powered by 3 Hodgson 50 grain white hot pellets and kicked off by a 209 primer. This was actually our try number 3 for Ostrich. We'd found 2 others. One was in a bunch of cows, and we couldn't get him separated from those cows in order to make a clean shot. And there we spotted one. As you can see, he's going away.
Okay.
Now, I could probably have made that shot, but Ernst wanted me to get him closer. He always did, of course. And by good luck, he actually reversed directions and came back towards us, as you see. And so I take him coming straight on. And so here it comes. Bang. He took 2,000 foot-pounds of muzzle energy in the chest. That bullet remained in him, and he stayed on his feet. And here's another same shot. Wow. I mean, that's tough. And you think velociraptors are bad? Well, these ain't good either, guys. Even Teddy Roosevelt had tremendous problems getting his ostriches killed with a 30-06 Springfield. There we go. Got him that time. So 2 shots,
You know what?
1 dead ostrich.
You know what? I think ostrich hunting is more difficult than buffalo.
Man, these things are wild.
Man, these things are wild. Well, that was fun. Let's go and have a look at it.
Well, wait a minute.
Do you want to load up?
Well, we don't.
What I was
Don't walk
saying
up on
is
one of these.
you don't walk up on one of these things. You want to be able to kill that thing, because that thing can kill you. You see the size of it now. And it's not the beak that does the work. It's those 2 vicious toes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah. He's done for. Beautiful critter.
And while my contemporaries in Georgia are turkey hunting, well, we have got a slightly larger bird here. Took him with Rex, double barrel muzzleloader, 50 caliber, 444 grain bullet. Actually took 2 of them. One in the chest, drew good blood, then we tracked him some more, brought him down with a second broadside shot. Big, big, big bird. I don't know how much he weighs. I would suppose at least 120 pounds, I imagine. Lots of good feathers. Only has 2 toes. Woof! I thought all beasties had 3 toes like this, but this one's got only 2. But nice, nice, nice big adult ostrich. Big male. So we're going to cook and clean this thing. And so we'll be eating ostrich tonight. Ernst, would you like to say something about your...
Okay. Over here, you primarily came for the Cape Buffalo, which we took 2 days ago. But just in conversation, you mentioned that you might want to take ostrich. And we're not really in ostrich country, but these ostriches that we came after now, they're wild ostriches on my brother-in-law's farm. He's a cattle farmer, so he doesn't really concentrate on game. There's quite a bit of game here as well. But these ostriches have just always been here, and they've always run wild. And we never really do much with them. They breed and they carry on, and some predators take them down. But when you mentioned that, I thought, geez, here's an ideal opportunity for us to see if we can get one of these guys. And you'll see on the video the cattle fence in the background. And I think that helped us tremendously, because they were so wild we couldn't get within 100 yards of this male. And he was running down the cattle fence. obviously looking for an open gate or a gap in the fence to get through, and that's where we ambushed him. So we're very lucky, but yeah, this is the first ostrich to be taken off this property that I know of.
Well, this was not our first try at our first ostrich here. This was about number 3 stalk, as I recall. And we actually tried on another ostrich, and he eluded us 3 different times. We couldn't get closer than about 100 yards or so. And while I maybe could have made the shot, we wanted to get closer. But, oh, he's a nice, typical African ostrich.
I couldn't quite sit behind him and spread his fan like a turkey, but here we are with our portrait with the ostrich, and here he is plucked. Yep, we saved the feathers and also consumed the meat. Yep, and we did take one small piece of plains game, just to the table. There we go, Bluey, and he went down. Besides extreme muzzleloading, I have other books that cover the subject. Now, this includes a new line of muzzleloading e-books, such as Muzzleloaders for Hunters, Shooting and Maintaining Your Muzzleloader, as well as hunting with muzzleloading shotguns and smoothbore muskets. I also have the Profit series of business books, the first title of which is Ideas for New Businesses, Finding Ideas for Starting Your Million or Billion-Dollar Business, and here's a blurb about that. Well, how did Rex do? Well, it's about the equivalent of an old black powder express cartridge, and not as good as a modern cartridge stuff for really dangerous game like buffalo and elephant and the like, although Michael McMichael has killed elephant with his bullets. For more information on my books and more than 450 videos, you can go to my website, www.hoviesmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye. And God bless.